Thank you. Ahmed Fathi, Al-Waf News, Egypt. Mr. Bosner, you are a frequent visitor to Cairo. Recently, just 2 days ago, Secretary Kerry have released $250 million in economic aid to Egypt, in spite that there is a law from Congress dating back to November 2011 that mandated that the Secretary of State should go to Congress and certify that the government in Egypt is moving towards democracy and adhering to human rights standards. In the past 37 days alone, there have been 74 people killed, over 1,500 persons injured, and yet Secretary Kerry released $250 million. Till what extent the Egyptian people have to look to the US government in the same manner they looked to them right after the revolution in 2011 as the defender of human rights and democracy after what they have seen at the recent actions? Thank you.
I was in Egypt last month, and at the end of, I saw people in the government, I saw people in the political opposition, I saw a lot of the non-governmental activists from various quarters. And at the end of that, I spoke publicly, and I said two things. One, there's a human rights crisis in Egypt, very serious situation, including impunity for security forces, police who are out on the street. As you say, 70+ people have been killed in the streets. Particularly concerned about attacks against women who are targeted, many raped on the street or pulled off the street. I met a number of advocates who are working on those issues. Deeply concerned about a new NGO law that's being proposed and now is in the Shura Council, another law on demonstrations. Real concerns about the constitutional process, both the process and the outcome. Nervous about the upcoming parliamentary election. So there's a range of things, which you know well, that continue to be human rights problems, serious problems in Egypt. At the same time, I said, and I believe, that the economic situation in Egypt is now so precarious. We talk about a cliff here. Egypt really is hanging by a thread in terms of its economic stability. And I think it ought to be possible for us both to be forthcoming, as I was and as Secretary Kerry was in his public remarks. We need to be strong on human rights, and we also have to recognize that if there isn't economic support to the country is really going to fail. One of the reasons so many people are on the streets in these demonstrations, they're young guys mostly without a job. They haven't had a job for a while. They're desperate. There's almost a nihilism, which creates the potential for an escalation of violence. I'm very nervous about that. So we need to be looking for ways to strengthen the economy, strengthen the reform that needs to happen. But we also need to put our money behind that and have a long-term view. I take a long-term view on almost everything I do. And my sense is that Egypt is at the center of the Middle East. Its rise or fall is going to affect every country around it. And we've got to stand behind the Egyptian people, and that means supporting them economically.
Yes.